a country made up of thousands of islands where countless bizarre things exist that seem like they could only appear in science fiction movies. From a tribe of merpeople to lands covered in gold to real-life dragons. It may sound unbelievable, but everything I just mentioned is absolutely real. And right now, I'm going to show you that this world is still full of crazy things far beyond human imagination. Number 15, no cohabitation before marriage. If you're planning to travel to Indonesia with your partner, you might want to think very carefully. I'm not sure whether the Indonesian government has some unusual way of thinking or not, but they actually prohibit premarital sex and even unmarried couples living together. People who commit adultery can face sentences of up to 1 year in prison, while unmarried couples who live together risk up to 6 months behind bars. However, only parents, spouses, or children of the accused are legally allowed to report them to the authorities. The introduction of this law has made many foreign tourists worried about visiting Indonesia, including the famous resort paradise of Bali. Even though both businesses and travelers strongly oppose the regulation, the Indonesian government still firmly pushed ahead with the plan they had long intended to implement. According to them, Indonesia is a country where the majority of the population follows Islam. Ideas about marriage, family, and morality are built upon this religious foundation, and banning premarital relationships is believed to bring more benefits than harm to young people. Number 14, the homeland of dragons. If you think dragons only exist in legends, then come to Indonesia, where you can witness dragons casually roaming through nature with your own eyes. Besides the tropical paradise of Bali, Indonesia is also home to Komodo Island, one of the new 7 wonders of nature, announced by the New 7 Wonders organization in 2011. This place is famous for its wild, majestic scenery and is also the only natural habitat of the Komodo dragon. It is the largest living lizard species on Earth and has been nicknamed the dragon. Komodo dragons live on the Indonesian islands of Komodo, Rinca, Flores, and Gili Motang. They belong to the monitor lizard family and are currently the largest lizards in the world. An adult can grow up to 3 meters long and weigh around 150 kilograms. They are adapted to hot, dry environments and are commonly found in dry grasslands, savannas, or lowland tropical forests. Komodo dragons are mainly active during the day, can run at speeds of up to 20 kilometers per hour, dive as deep as 4.5 meters, and climb trees extremely well. Their diet includes invertebrates, birds, and mammals, especially deer, buffalo, and wild boars. What you need to know is that Komodo dragons are extremely dangerous, with deadly capabilities comparable to leopards. They possess venom that causes paralysis, along with saliva glands containing proteins capable of causing tissue decay. Even more terrifying, this species often pretends to be dead in order to ambush prey passing nearby before suddenly attacking. Therefore, when visiting Komodo dragons, tourists are required to keep a safe distance and avoid close contact to prevent danger. The best time to hunt for Komodo dragons is from April to December. This is the dry season, so the weather is quite pleasant, the sea is calm, and traveling by boat around the waters of Pantai Merah is much more convenient. After completing the registration procedures, tourists can choose a roughly 2-hour island tour around Rinca Island to observe Komodo dragons. According to local residents, this is the easiest place to spot Komodo dragons of various ages. In just around 15 minutes, you may already encounter 3 dragons. Most of them lie scattered along the pathways. The deeper you go into the island, the greater your chance of witnessing more unique daily behaviors of these terrifying creatures. Number 13, the Blue-Eyed Tribe. Leaving aside the strange regulations of the Indonesian government for a moment, let's explore something truly unique that exists only in this country, a tribe with stunning blue eyes. Buton Island, the 19th largest island in Indonesia, located southeast of Sulawesi, is home to a mysterious tribe known as the Buton people. This tribe is divided into several smaller groups, and some members possess sky blue eyes. This is extremely rare in Indonesia, where most people have black hair and dark eyes. What's even more special is that this rare phenomenon is called Waardenburg syndrome, a condition that affects eye pigmentation due to a unique genetic trait. It is a genetic mutation occurring in approximately 1 out of every 42,000 people. Besides changing eye color, the syndrome can also cause hearing loss. From adults to children, many members of the tribe on Bhutan Island have striking blue eyes. If people did not know the true reason behind their eye color, many would probably think they came from another planet or were creations generated by artificial intelligence. Number 12. Chili smoothie. Can you believe that there's actually a dish in this world that can make your stomach hurt in sympathy just by looking at it? It's Indonesia's chili smoothie. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary smoothie, but it's thick like food. And the shocking part is that almost all the ingredients are chili peppers. This dish is called tahu gejrot, an extremely popular Indonesian snack. Its main ingredient is basically super spicy crushed bird's eye chili, along with a small amount of crispy fried tofu that is barely noticeable. When eating it, people mix it with shallots and garlic, mash everything together, then add pure chili sauce before shaking it well and enjoying it. Just seeing pictures of this overflowing with chili dish is enough to shock many people. Some believe the overwhelming spiciness destroys the original flavor, while most people insist that simply looking at it already gives them a stomachache. What about you? Would you dare try this unusual dish? Share your thoughts with us. Number 11. The Sea Nomad Tribe. How long can you hold your breath? 1 minute? 3 minutes? If you can hold it for up to 5 minutes, you're already quite extraordinary. But in Indonesia, there exists a tribe capable of holding their breath underwater for dozens of minutes. The Bajau are considered one of the strangest tribes in the world, with people who spend their lives drifting on the sea and who often do not even have citizenship. This is a semi-nomadic tribe scattered across Southeast Asia, from Indonesia to Malaysia and the Philippines. The Bajau are also known as master free divers because of their exceptional diving abilities. Their lives are completely tied to the ocean, and all their traditions and customs revolve around protecting the sea. Whether men, women, or children, the Bajau share an intense passion for diving. They can spend up to 8 hours a day underwater, and some individuals reportedly spend nearly 60% of their lives beneath the sea. According to the latest studies, the bodies of the Bajau people have naturally adapted to this unique lifestyle. Certain organs have evolved to better suit underwater living, especially their enlarged spleens, which help increase oxygen levels in the blood while diving. When submerged, their heart rates slow down, and blood is redirected to the body's most vital organs. Thanks to their larger spleens, which store oxygen-rich red blood cells, they are able to extend their breath-holding time to astonishing levels. This is considered clear evidence that the Sea People tribe has evolved to adapt to life underwater. It is a genetic trait rather than something developed purely through experience. Mr. Seifel, a professional diver, once described the way the Bajau dive as like dancing, with incredibly slow and graceful movements. Despite his own extensive diving experience, Mr. Seifel could only dive to depths of around 5 meters each time, while the Bajau can reach depths of 12 to 15 meters. That is the astonishing difference of the Sea Nomad tribe. It is known that Bajau children begin learning to dive from a very young age. Some are only 3 or 4 years old when they already follow their parents out to sea to practice diving. Their lives revolve around catching fish using simple handmade tools. Besides fishing, they also dive for sea cucumbers, sea urchins, and pearls to exchange for food on land. Because they have lived drifting at sea for centuries and remained almost completely isolated from modern society, this tribe is still little known to the outside world. They have been connected to the ocean for generations, yet they do not belong to any country. Having no citizenship also means they are deprived of the basic rights that ordinary citizens should normally have. Number 10. No revealing clothes and no public displays of affection. No matter how attractive you may look, you should choose the most modest clothing possible when setting foot in Indonesia, especially when visiting restaurants or religious sites. Wearing revealing outfits is considered taboo, particularly for women. Clothes such as spaghetti strap tops, tube tops, short skirts, or shorts are generally unacceptable. For men, wearing tank tops or short pants in public places or sacred temples is also viewed as disrespectful. Besides clothing regulations, the Indonesian government also frequently reminds tourists about displaying affection in public. People there often feel uncomfortable and believe overly intimate actions in crowded places are showy and inappropriate. Therefore, when visiting this country, you should avoid actions such as hugging or kissing in public. At the same time, maintaining polite personal distance is important so as not to disturb those around you. There have even been cases of couples being pelted with feces for kissing in Indonesia, and you definitely would not want that happening to you. Number 9. No initiating handshakes and no using the left hand. In many countries, shaking hands is considered a civilized and polite gesture when meeting someone, especially in developed nations. However, in Indonesia, this can be seen as quite sensitive, especially toward women. Indonesia is the country with the largest Muslim population in the world, and many Muslim women do not like unfamiliar men touching them. Therefore, when meeting Indonesians, the best approach is simply to smile and nod in greeting. Only if they extend their hand first should you shake hands in return, and remember not to grip too firmly. Not only that, but using the left hand is also considered a serious taboo in this country. Indonesians believe the left hand is unclean and unhygienic. Therefore, using your left hand to hold things or hand over money and objects to others is considered disrespectful and will not be welcomed. So if you want a smooth and trouble-free trip in Indonesia, you should pay special attention to how you use your hands. Just one careless action could put you in an awkward situation. Number 8. No pork consumption. Once again, this rule originates from Islamic principles. According to Islamic beliefs, pigs are considered more unclean than any other livestock animals because their digestive systems work too quickly. This supposedly results in a shorter and less effective toxin elimination process. In addition, pigs do not have sweat glands, making it easier for bacteria and pathogens to accumulate in their blood, fat tissue, and meat. The final reason relates to the natural instincts of pigs. Among domesticated animals, they are believed to be the only species with a tendency to exchange mates as part of their inherent behavior. From the moral perspective of Islam, this is considered completely unacceptable. Islamic scholars believe that a person's character can be negatively affected if they frequently consume pork products. And because the Indonesian government places strong faith in Islam, they support limiting this type of food within the country, even though doing so has caused considerable economic losses for many Indonesian pig farmers. Number 7. No gambling. Many tourist destinations around the world allow gambling activities legally, but Indonesia is different. Even if you only bet a few small coins, you could still end up paying a very heavy price. All forms of gambling are strictly prohibited in Indonesia. Therefore, it is best to stay far away from gambling dens and invitations to participate in games of chance. If caught, at minimum you could face fines and deportation from Indonesia, and in more serious cases, imprisonment. While in many other places card games are seen simply as entertainment during free time, Indonesians often view them very differently. They believe only lazy or irresponsible people get involved in gambling. Once someone starts, it is considered extremely difficult to quit, which is why locals generally have a strong dislike for gambling-related activities. And it does not stop there. If you accidentally encounter extremist religious followers, you could face even greater dangers. This is certainly one of the taboos in Indonesia that you should remember carefully. Number 6. The horror market. If you are an animal lover, you probably would never want to set foot in Tamahan Market in Indonesia. This place once became infamous as a controversial tourist attraction because of its slaughter and sale of wild animals. The most common specialties sold there are bats and snakes, species widely considered unsafe for human consumption. The notorious Tamahan Animal Market in northern Indonesia also sells cats, dogs, and monkeys. The cruel treatment of animals, combined with an experience often described as walking through hell, turned the place into a strange tourist attraction. Tamahan was even once listed by TripAdvisor among notable tourist destinations. At first glance, Tamahan does not look very different from ordinary traditional markets. The parking lot is always crowded, and street vendors sell everything from ice cream, candy, and plastic toys to fresh flowers. Outside the market are colorful displays of fruit, smoked fish, and spicy seasonings. Yet all of that merely serves as a disguise for the horrifying scenes hidden deeper inside what is known as Indonesia's scariest market. The further visitors walk inside, the more obvious the difference becomes. The overpowering stench hits directly into the nose. Flies swarm everywhere as if enjoying a feast of meat. Bats with chopped off wings, pythons with their entrails removed, and skewered rats are scattered all around. Dogs and cats are beaten to death on the spot with wooden clubs. Located in the volcanic highlands of North Sulawesi, Tomohon was once the largest traditional market of the Minahasa people. Most visitors there are Minahasa, an ethnic group famous for unusual foods. Although life in the forest is no longer the same as it was centuries ago, they still preserve the eating habits of their ancestors with dishes made from animals such as snakes and bats. The Minahasa meat section, held every Saturday, is always the busiest and most crowded area of the market. Most of the animals sold at the market are hunted in nearby forests by local people. Even though consuming wild animal meat carries many health risks, the vendors still insist that their food is safe, staking their lifelong reputations on it. Number 5. The harshest traffic laws in the world. In Indonesia, almost everyone who rides a motorcycle wears a full-face helmet that is thick, sturdy, and extremely durable. A helmet here costs around $13, not an overly expensive price to pay for personal safety and to avoid trouble with the traffic police. It is precisely this serious level of compliance among citizens that has made helmets a very distinctive symbol of traffic culture in Indonesia. However, this is not entirely due to public awareness and self-discipline, but mainly because of the country's extremely strict traffic laws. According to Indonesian regulations, motorcyclists who do not wear helmets can be fined around $500, have their identification documents confiscated, be banned from going out on the streets, or even face up to 1 month in jail. Although these rules are often considered quite harsh, they have shown clear effectiveness, especially considering that Indonesia once had the second highest motorcycle accident death rate in the world, reaching as high as 73.6%. Number 4. The Island of Gold. Book a ticket to Indonesia's Sumatra Island right away if you want to try your luck at changing your life overnight, because in this place, finding real gold is truly not as impossible as it sounds. Simply walking around the right area could lead you to valuable treasures. Over the past 5 years, numerous pure gold artifacts worth millions of dollars have continuously been discovered along the Musi River on Sumatra Island. The repeated discoveries of precious relics have led archaeologists to believe that this was once the region where the legendary Srivijaya Empire existed. Srivijaya frequently appears in Indonesian legends and is also known as the Island of Gold. According to stories passed down through generations, this was once an incredibly wealthy and prosperous ancient civilization. For many years, people have tried to trace the remains of Srivijaya because the empire mysteriously disappeared around the 14th century without any clear explanation. Only recently have archaeological discoveries given scientists hope that they may finally have found authentic evidence proving the existence of Srivijaya. These artifacts were discovered completely by accident by local divers while they were diving in the river to catch seafood. Along the Musi River near the city of Palembang, divers frequently stumble upon ancient treasures, ranging from 8th century gemstone-encrusted Buddha statues to extremely valuable pure gold jewelry. The constant appearance of gold objects, bronze Buddha statues, and even gemstone-decorated golden statues dating back to the 8th century has further convinced archaeologists that this is evidence of the immense wealth of the ancient Srivijaya kingdom. However, the reason why this empire disappeared remains an unsolved mystery to this day. Number 3. Marriage without dating. Can you believe there are couples who become husband and wife after knowing each other for just 1 day? It sounds unbelievable, but in Indonesia, this is actually quite common. More and more young people in Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim-majority country, are choosing to skip the dating phase and move straight into marriage after only a short period of conversation. Stories of these no-dating-needed marriages ending happily are appearing more and more frequently on Indonesian social media. One example is the story of Muhammad al-Faiz, the son of a famous polygamous religious preacher. Photos of the 21-year-old young man quickly spread across social media after he married a 19-year-old girl who had previously been Catholic but converted to Islam after being introduced to Faiz through matchmaking. Returning to the trend of marriage without dating, supporters argue that this approach allows women to take greater initiative in choosing a life partner without having to engage in premarital relationships. However, many opposing opinions argue that a marriage built mainly on logic rather than emotion will lack genuine connection between the two people and may even place women in dangerous situations. A happy marriage requires both husband and wife to understand and follow Islamic teachings regarding their responsibilities and obligations. If both sides do not clearly understand each other's rights and duties, divorce becomes almost unavoidable. Number 2. Gift-giving taboos. In Indonesia, giving gifts comes with quite a few special rules. Items such as beef, knives, scissors, or sharp objects are often considered inappropriate. During a first meeting, small gifts are a good way to show sincerity and a desire to build a long-term relationship. However, gifts should remain simple, such as symbols of your hometown, your organization's logo, or regional specialties from your area. The gift does not even need elaborate wrapping. When receiving gifts, Indonesians often simply say, "Thank you," set the gift aside, and only open it after you have left. Therefore, if they give you a gift, you should also avoid opening it immediately in front of them. You may bring gifts when invited to an Indonesian home, after returning from a trip, or to thank someone who has helped you. Chinese Indonesians especially enjoy receiving food as gifts, but not directly during the party or meal itself. Bringing food immediately may imply that the host did not prepare enough food for guests. Instead, sending food afterward is considered a more meaningful thank you gift. Candy or fruit baskets are usually the most suitable choices. In addition, they may sometimes refuse a gift up to 3 times before accepting it because they fear appearing greedy. Flowers are also common gifts in Indonesia. However, you should avoid giving an odd number of flowers because it is considered unlucky. If a man gives flowers or gifts directly to a woman, it can easily cause misunderstandings. Therefore, men often say the gift is actually from their wife, and you should do the same. Remember these principles if you want Indonesians to appreciate you, because they can be extremely useful when traveling or working there. Number 1. Sorcerers everywhere. If you live in Indonesia for a while, you will quickly realize that there are many sorcerers there, because Indonesians tend to be quite superstitious. Quite a few people have ended up losing all their money, or even their lives, simply because they trusted fake shamans who used superstition to scam others. In a country where the majority of the population follows Islam, belief in sorcerers and shamans still remains surprisingly common. Taking advantage of this, many individuals use deceptive tricks to steal people's assets, and in some cases, even take victims' lives. In April 2023, Indonesian police arrested a shaman in a village in Banjarnegara, central Java, after discovering multiple bodies buried in the man's garden. The man was accused of murdering at least 12 clients as part of a deliberate scheme. According to the police, he had promised to make his clients rich through magic. But when things failed to happen as promised and the victims demanded their money back, they were poisoned. In the end, most of these sorcerers operate purely for money and do not possess any supernatural abilities like many superstitious people still believe. Hopefully, after this video, you now understand Indonesia better and can more clearly appreciate the diversity and richness of the culture of this unique country. Continue exploring the world around us and always cherish the distinct characteristics of every nation. Thank you for accompanying us throughout this journey. See you again in the next videos.